All right, it is time for an announcement video, and this one's all about goals. Hey everyone, it is Shannon, and I'm super excited to be here today and to share with you this video. This is going to be my 2024 goals, and I am looking forward to this so much. Oh my goodness. So this is what I'm going to be working on for the remainder of 2024. I completely acknowledge the fact that it is very strange to release a goals-related video in October, an annual sort of goals-related video in October. Normally I would put out a video like this somewhere in sort of like February, but my filming has been really sporadic this year, and working on stuff has been really sporadic this year, and I think I might have cracked the nut as to why this was happening yesterday, which is when I was doing my morning pages yesterday. I came across the oddity and the truth of the fact that I never made goals for this year. I just never made them. I never got to that list on my film, and even on my film spreadsheet and on my book spreadsheet, I created a new tab for each of them of what I've seen and read this year, and I always create a new tab for my goals for each of the year, and it has all these calculations and the numbers that I can put in for each of the months and all that stuff. I didn't even make that. I didn't make that because there was nothing to put in that. And I'm like, I am beside myself that it took me until October to realize I hadn't done this. So yeah. So, I mean, it might make more sense to, like, wait till next year, but I'm like, nope, not going to do it. I realize that it's unusual in October, but the moment I realized I hadn't made any goals, what did I do? I made a bunch of goals. And so I spent a lot of yesterday sort of like brainstorming and shifting and putting things into categories and trying to figure out what makes sense and what had some balance and some challenge and what was a bit of a stretch and what was an easy win and all of those things, because those are all things that I like to have in goals, because I think it's just as important to have something that's an easy win as it is to have something that's really challenging and feels really great when you finish it. At least for me. I like having variety because I never know like what I'm going to want to be focusing on. That's not totally true. Like, I don't know. Anyway, I like having variety because it has a lot of different things that you can work on at the same time. And so you can pick something that suits your mood or suits your energy or suits whatever, you know what I mean? Like, so yeah. So anyway, so I made a bunch of goals, and being 2024, I decided to squish and move them until it was 24 goals in 2024. So yeah, so let's just get to the list. So here are my 24 goals for 2024. These are separated out into categories, often of the categories that I often talk about on this channel. So we're going to start with my one film goal for 2024, and that is to watch 21 additional new to me films. So 21 movies from now until the rest of the year that I haven't seen before. And the reason why I picked 21 is because I've already seen 79 new to me movies, and that means by the end of the year I will have seen 100 new to me movies. And that is a sort of soft goal that I sort of work towards in like when I can't think of to be honest, when I can't think up of anything, and I don't want to have lots of different goals, I'm like, okay, 100 movies a year, easy win. I mean, it may not be easy, that to be honest, that actually might be a bit challenging, but it's something to strive towards, and 21 additional new films by the end of the year. I don't know if I can make it, but I'm going to work on it. I might say that for a lot of these things. I don't know. Anyway, so that is my film goal. I picked 2 TV goals, and I tried to keep this one really simple, and I didn't overthink it. This was the first thing that came into my head, and I just decided to roll with it, and that is to try 5 new TV shows and to finish 5 TV shows or seasons, like to get up to date. So that's it. Try 5 new shows, also finish 5 new shows. I know that's sort of net neutral, but I mean, it's fine. It's fine. There's always, I can finish or try more than that. It's just something to work towards, and it makes me curious to think about what could I finish or what will I finish and what to try next and stuff like that. I do wish I had maybe thought of this, or like, because I tried like 3 of the new fall premieres last week, but I'm not counting them. I'm starting like today. Today. So 5 new TV shows, and they can be new. They can be premieres, but they can also be just something I haven't seen before. So that's my one or my 2 TV ones. I did decide to pick only one reading goal, which is very unusual for me, but my reading this year has been a lot less than has been in a lot of years. And when I look back, there are a lot, I did have a fair amount of technical challenges, some of which I've solved, some of which I haven't. But anyway, what I decided to go for with reading is a sort of tried, tested, and true challenge that I have done for many years. And that is my A to Z graphic novels and comics challenge. So this is reading one title for each letter of the alphabet. And I actually think this one might be a bit hard, to be honest, but, and there are always some letters that are a bit challenging to get, but I have done this since I think it's 2019 successfully. So it's my longest running successful completion reading challenge. So that's why I decided to go with it. And I don't think I've read any graphic novels and comics this year, which is very unusual for me. I don't know what's going on with that. But anyway, so yeah, I've already picked the first title. It's like Tomb Raider Season of the Witch, so that'll be my T, which is a very common letter. I should have left that till the end, but anyway, so yeah, so that's my reading goal. In terms of, I did pick a music goal. This one's a bit unusual, and I actually realized that it has a challenge with it in terms of I won't know that I'm done until the end of the year, which is not a great way to frame a challenge. But anyway, what I want to do is every year I create a music playlist of the songs that I'm really loving that year on Spotify. The songs that I'm loving that year, the list is on Spotify. The emphasis was a bit off in that sentence. Anyway, but so I just want to write them all out and write out what the reference was if I remember it, because over time I certainly won't remember it, at least not from the title. But also often sometimes I listen to music, but I don't always notate who the artists are, or where it's from, or even what the name of a title is. You just sort of like know it from this, and then you Shazam it, and then you add it to Spotify, and then like, whew, you lose some of the context. So I want to have that context. I want to know who the artists are. I want to know the names of the songs. I want to know why that one was meaningful to me this year. That list I usually do as new to me songs, but I also include songs that came back into my life this year for if it was for a specific reason. So yeah, I really love doing that. I've done that list on Spotify, I think for 3 or 4 years now. I really enjoy listening to it, and I love adding stuff to it. Next up, for art, I only went with one art goal, which is a little light, but it doesn't matter. I'm not going to hold judgment to myself on this. And that is to draw each of the plants. I have 15 different plants currently. There's one that's looking a little sad, and there's one that it's one plant, but it's making more plants. But I mean, one of each container of plants. There's 15 throughout in all different nooks and crannies. There's some of them didn't make it this year, and then I propagated some other ones. All the ones I propagated, I think all of them took. I had a cactus or a succulent I wasn't sure, I was really worried about, but it looks fine. So yay, it needs a new spot. It can't be by the window now that the weather's getting cold. That's a different thing. I just want to draw each of my plants. I went through a sketchbook recently that had some drawings of plants that I no longer have that didn't make it. And I remember those plants for a variety of different reasons, but one of the reasons I remember them is because I drew them, and I really like drawing plants. So, I mean, it feels like a win-win. So there's 15. So once I've drawn each of them once, that'll be done. That'll be checked off the list, and I think it'll be fun to do, and maybe that would be a fun video to do, either to do a draw with me or to share progress on it. Who knows? We'll see how that goes. I did pick one knitting goal, and that is to knit one pair of socks, arm warmers or leg warmers. I just need to get back into the goal behind the goal here is to get back in the habit of doing smaller projects that are finished at some point. I have many sweaters. I think they're all the same pattern, to be honest. And I think I have the same pattern of sweater in 3 different stages in 3 different places. But I'm like, I just want to knit something that I will use, or that someone I know will use. And 2, it really helps for me to have a knitting project when I am like watching TV or watching a movie. It really helps. I don't even need to knit the whole time, but it just sort of sets the habit of it, and it makes me feel less restless. And I surprised that sometimes I get restless when I'm watching TV or a movie, but it just helps me settle in. And the fact that it helps is really the part that's important. So I just need to find some skinny needles. Like, so I don't go as far as ones, but I do like, I think I usually have something on the sort of 2 up from that. They're always in different, there's 2 numbering systems. Anyway, because it's like, I think it's in millimeters and then like inches. And so anyway, so whatever. I think that the goal here is clear. Knit either 1 pair of either socks, arm warmers, or leg warmers, a small project that I can do, that I want to do. I do have some gaming goals that I want to work on. I have had a lot of gaming goals that I do consistently work on my gaming goals, but in terms of things that I want to finish by the end of the year, I definitely want to finish, this is all in terms of reference to World of Warcraft, which is the game that I play. I play some games on my phone, but World of Warcraft is the online game that I play. And I want to finish the Lore Master achievement, which is a meta achievement of 10 different achievements of basically doing all of the story quests in the different zones throughout the expansions from the original release up until the end of Shadowlands, or at least the Shadowlands Lore Master. I have done 7 out of 10 of these. I just need to finish Northrend, which is the Wrath of the Lich King, Pandaria, which is Mists of Pandaria, and Shadowlands. Each of those particular expansions, I've hit a bit of a sticky point because of what, like, some kind of weird circumstance, or it's just not, I'm not doing it the way I want to do it, and I'm not happy about it. But the thing is, I really want to complete the goal. I can always take another character and go through any of the expansions at any time and do any of the quests at any time, but I want to finish Lore Master. I want to get the title. I want to get the achievement. I have been working on it for, at the end of this year, it will have been 2 years, and I'm like, I want to get done. I want to get done on that one. I can always go back and do the quest. I never read the quest text unless I can't figure out what to do. I am one of those people that I'm like, I'm just going to go where the arrow is and pick that thing, and do I have 6 of these, and what am I doing, and let's go back, and now I'm done, and yay. I'm so bad. I'm not really good at retaining story in that way, and some of them aren't, like, some of them are story-ish, and some of them, well, they all have a story, but many of them don't relate to the overall story, especially in the earlier expansions. Anyway, so finishing the Lore Master achievement. I also have, I do want to finish the fishing and cooking achievements for that are not part of the new expansion. So there was a new expansion that came out this year in August. So in terms of what's before that achievement, or sorry, before that expansion, I have 5 fishing achievements and 4 cooking achievements left to get, and I love doing the fishing and cooking, and I have been working on that consistently since I started playing WoW again, which was like, I think 3.5 years ago, and I'm really close to, like, I just have a few more for those particular achievements that I would like to finish off and see if I can make them happen. Some of them I genuinely don't even know how you do it. Like, I think there's some kind of secret quest line you have to do. I mean, like, if it's not obvious, I'm not going to stumble upon it. So some of them require some research, but I'm in full, like, a lot, but some of the fishing ones, I finally got fishing up the Old Crafty in Orgrimmar. Is it Old Crafty? I have both the Orgrimmar and the Iron Forge ones. Those did not take as long as I expected, but they were just, you just fished until you got it. And I still have at least one more fishing achievement like that. You just fish until you get it. So I don't mind having stuff like that, because I'll just watch a show or a movie. Anyway, so those are my 3 gaming goals: finish the Lore Master, and then finish the cooking and fishing achievements up until, like, before the War Within, so up until the end of Dragonflight. Okay, on to some home-related stuff. I don't normally talk about home-related stuff, but I have some home and sort of food-ish related stuff. So for home stuff, one, I bought a wax melter. I don't know if the cord is long enough. I bought a wax melter, and I am really excited about this. It gives off this really nice, pretty light. I did post on Instagram that showed it, and with it, I also, actually separate, I also got a selection of wax melts, and I want to try all of the different fragrances by the end of the year. I have already tried 3 of the 8, so I think it's quite possible I will be able to achieve trying the other 5 by the end of the year. I was inspired to do this by my friend Di, who on her channel, she often does the Scent Sundays and shares what she has been warming, and I really enjoy watching those videos. Unfortunately, most of the companies that I have heard of were not available, so I just picked something, and I don't know, I can't think off the top of my head what it is. So I don't know, I mean, it's kind of unknown territory for me, but I do like, I do also have an essential oil diffuser, but I felt like you have a limited number of things for that because it uses essential oils. So whereas with the wax melts, there's so many different scents and scent combinations that you can get. So yeah, so I went with sort of a combination of fruits and florals and one foresty color, and avoided the like food bakery stuff because that does, and candy. There was a lot of candy stuff for Halloween. That doesn't appeal to me. So it took me a while to figure out, but I found one that was more like fruits and florals. So that's been really great, and I just want to try the rest of them. And then in terms of some other stuff, I want to organize all of my teas and hot chocolate. I'm getting a sense of like cozy fall, winter vibes. I have a lot of tea and hot chocolate. I have over time ended up having to sort of move it to other places than the cupboard because it wouldn't fit. So I don't even know exactly what I have, where it is. I think I know where everything is, but I don't know what I have, and I just feel it's the disorganization of that is not working for me. I would like to know where things are. I would like to have things like, you know, I would like to have a place to go to be like, I want to have a tea. And I mean, I have like the regular stuff that I use every day, but I don't, but then I get stuck in the habit of like, yeah, this is what I use every day. And I'm like, what about all the other stuff? Like, what about everything else? Anyway, so I've gotten into the habit of sort of like, you know, having the same stuff. And I'm like, well, I have a lot to choose from. So what is a very smooth way of being able to enjoy all of the stuff that I have, or like, you know, pick 5 for a week or something. I don't know. Anyway, I just want to organize my teas. I know what that means. I'll know what it looks like when it's done. It's gonna be a mess before it gets done, which is why I haven't done it, but I want to do it. And then I also want to do, in terms of some meal planning type stuff, this one's a bit weird and a bit specific, but I want to write out all of the regular recipes that I do and time them out so that I have a reasonable, realistic expectation of how long the meal takes to make. Because I found myself recently being really frustrated with how long it takes to make anything. Like anything, pretty much. Anything that requires turning on the stove. And I have fallen well out of habit of cooking regularly. I do a lot of assembly stuff, soup, salad, sandwich, you know, frozen pizza with a salad, you know, that kind of stuff, or get something like from the deli, like in the grocery store, and incorporate that with like other things. So I've done sort of like that kind of stuff. And I have the recipes, like I don't have a huge array of recipes, but a lot of the recipes I make, I just like made them up at some point. Or like one I have is like the recipe of what in my family we call the mushrooms, which is kind of funny because there's actually 2 recipes called the mushrooms. But this is the mushrooms, that's the bacon and the mushrooms. And that recipe, I think I might have written it down at some point, but I have no idea how long it takes. But the reason why I don't have it in that sense is because I got that recipe because my mom gave it to me over the phone. And if I had any trouble with it, I would just call her and be like, it looks like this, or how long do you do this? And she explain things in the terms that I do them now, which is that it's not really a recipe in terms of it's this amount of this or that amount of that. It's like you stir it until it looks like this. You know, it's like, well, that's, you know, and so it's not finite, and it doesn't need to be finite. And I'm laughing because I'm like, this is totally how I do stuff. Like, that's totally how when I make something up, and it does sort of evolve over time. A lot of, I don't know if other people find that when you do a recipe, you start it with the recipe and then it changes a bit and then it changes a bit and then it changes a bit, and you might modify it depending on what you happen to have that day. And then at some point it's something completely different. But in terms of the challenge, what I want is I want to know how long the different recipes take. And some of that should be finite-ish. You know what I mean? Because if it's 40 minutes, that's one thing. If it's an hour and a half, that's another thing. If it's 3 hours, that's another thing. And maybe that's only for holidays, you know, like, so, I mean, or special occasions. So I just want to know that. And I think, honestly, there's like 5 recipes. There's the mushrooms, there's the green curry, there's the starchy vegetable soup, and there's like whatever spaghetti-ish type of pasta sauce with vegetables and protein if you got it, and pasta, like that sort of. Those are, I think there's a 4th one, but those are the 4 that I can think of. I think there's a 5th one. Anyway, but yeah, I just want to know how long it takes to make the regular recipes that I make. Oh, roasted vegetables, that's it. Or the roasted vegetables with sausage, or what, you know, whatever you got. Yeah, those are the 5 things that I sort of make on rotation, and I have no idea, like, genuinely, no idea. I can probably rank them how, like, roasted vegetables takes longest start to finish, but I'm like, I don't know. And I'm like, it really doesn't work for me to be frustrated about that kind of thing. And it feels silly, but I mean, when I have the information, you know, then I just need to know when to start cooking, you know? I mean, so anyway, let's move on. In terms of some other home-related stuff, I want to do, this is so silly, but it's not silly. I need to do my fall-winter clothing crossover. So seasonally, I switch out what's in my drawers for like what makes sense for the weather and stuff like that, because I don't have enough room for all my clothes to be in my drawers, so I move them into like storage bags and shift them around. I didn't even do that in the summer, so technically what I have in my drawers is sort of like fall winter from last year, but I have just gotten out of habit of doing this, and I like to do it at least twice a year for fall winter and then spring summer. So I just need to like do it. I just need to do it. I just need to have X amount of long sleeve shirts and a couple of short sleeve shirts that I'm not going to put away, and X amount of like different sweaters and like layering type pieces and like warmer pants versus lighter pants. I mean, it's very standard that I've done this type of thing for so long, but I haven't done it, and my drawers are not closing because they just have too much stuff in them, and that does not work for me. A lot of these kinds of things are all about sort of like ease in everyday life. That's what the tease is. That's what the recipes are, and that's what this is. It's really helpful for me to have that ease in everyday life, and to be able to not fight with my drawers is one of them. So there's that. And then stuff also ease in everyday life. I want to have this desk area that I'm at right now tidied, both underneath it and beside it. You can hear that. That's a bunch of stuff that's under the desk that just sort of piled up over the past whatever length of time. I don't want that. I can't roll up all the way to the desk. I can, but then my knees are at more than a 90-degree angle. So this, and I would also like this desk to always be clear, because this is where I film, this is where I do journaling, this is where I do drawing, this is where I do planning, and I recently ended up always having just sort of piles of stuff shifting from here to there to here to there. That does not work for me. I need to have it clear. It needs to be a dedicated space. So I want to get that done, but I also want to get what's underneath it and beside it. There's like a box of, I mean, like genuine, there's a carton of Diet Coke here. This does not need to be here, but is there somewhere else for it? No. Well, there is, but something else is there. So anyway, so it's just those things, right? You know, it's just those things. So there's that. What else is there? I also have an area in the other room that is, or like in my main space, that I just ended up over time, just there's a whole bunch of stuff piled up on the floor, and it's from when I shifted some furniture around, and then things just didn't find a home, and it just makes me very not happy to have it just be messy. So I just want to be able to not have it be messy. But basically how I'll know it's done is that the floor is clear. The floor is clear. Everything has a home. Everything is at where it's supposed to be, and that it has somewhere to go. The truth is there's a lot of stuff I don't have a space for it to go, which is why it hasn't moved, because I shifted things and then I never found homes for things that got that got moved from A to B to C. So they got to A to B, but never to C. Gotta find C. Solve for C. Somebody help. Anyway, so I think I got through that. So clothing, clear the floor, tidy the desk, and have space to put away all of my active journals and sketchbooks. This is one of the reasons why things keep on getting shifted from desktop to desktop, is that there isn't space on the bookshelves that I have. I have a bookshelf beside this desk. I have a bookshelf beside my computer desk, but I have finished notebooks, but the place where I put my finished notebooks is full. So I can't take them away. So, I mean, it's just a bit of, I have a system, it's just, there's a problem with one cog in the wheel. That's not how cogs work. That's not how wheels work. Okay, we're going to stay away from that analogy, but yeah. So that's another one, is to have space to put away all my active journals and sketchbooks, which will hopefully help, in keeping this desktop clear. So there we go. Where we go. In terms of journaling, I do have 3 different journals that I would like to keep. I would like to get up to date, that I'm very behind on. I would technically just, I think on a more realistic note, I think it would make sense or be more likely that I would just finish one of these. But I do have 3 journals. I started a new journal this year that is my film journal, and I have dedicated a page for each film that I have seen. And then early in the year, I wrote about them. And then at some point, I didn't end up keeping up. They're all past lives. That movie, my goodness. So yeah, so I got to about, where did I leave off? Oh, these don't even have the dates. March. So one of these was March. So, oh, Monsters Run. That was great. Monster Run. That was great. So anyway, so I would like to get this one up to date. I think this one is a bit of a priority. I have also what I call my journal. So this is like more, I've kept a journal sort of the same way for a lot of ways. I'm just trying to see if there's something I can show that's not spoilery. I don't find a good example. There's still a lot of books, film, TV, but it's just like, photos of like daily life, or, films I've seen or things I've been up to, stuff in game. There's some stuff in game. I can share that when I got my Shadow Priest to level 70 through archaeology, because it was way easier than doing other stuff. And that was her PvP set that I got through Comstomp because it was easier than other stuff. I do like PvP, but it was hard to get to max level. Anyway, so there's that. And then I also bought and started a 4-year journal, not a 5-year journal, but a 4-year journal, because I have large handwriting. And I started it, but then I didn't end up keeping up with it. So I did it manually. I was inspired by Jashi Corinne. And so you leave space for each year. I don't think I can't show an example without showing, and I don't want to, that's like journal stuff. So I need to finish dating this and then write stuff in. I have kept stuff on Excel, and I even think just through like photos on my phones and stuff I posted on social media and YouTube videos, I'll be able to figure stuff out. So I'm not super worried about getting in something for every day, but I do want to get it dated, and I do want to get the information that I have for each day in there. Oddly, my film journal is a bit more of a priority than that, which feels really weird. Anyway, I have a couple more things. We're almost there. In terms of YouTube, I do want to brainstorm some ideas for videos to sort of share like this goals journey for the rest of the year. Things that can, ways to do updates and stuff like that. So that's a bit meta. But yes, do some brainstorming and make some decisions on ways I can do that. I know I could do updates and I could do vlogs, but I'm sure there's other ideas in there. Maybe journal with me or draw plants with me, or I don't know what would be interesting. I also do want to try OBS. I have never tried that. I think having it's a software. What the goal is to have a screen capture software so I could record on my computer and show spreadsheets or show gaming or whatever, or show looking up a movie when I'm doing a movie blog or something like that. I think having some kind of screen capture software is something that I would like to do, and would have something that I have wanted for quite some time. And I would like to go to some sort of like live streaming events just to try out some different options in terms of like just seeing what people are doing for live streaming. A lot of the people that I know that have done live streaming events have decided to wrap up doing them, and I really like watching them or watching the VODs back later. So I just want to go do, I wrote down 3 live streaming events, and then my last one, 24th one, is just continue doing Duolingo, which I got back to earlier this year. I've been working on Danish again. I think I'm at like 170 days. I took many years off. They've changed sort of how, like where some of the phrases are and stuff, so I got a little confused about that, but I was able to get back to it, and as I said, I think I'm at day 170 or something, so I'm really happy about that. So there you go. Those are my 24 goals for 2024. Thank you for sticking with me. I did not think this would be this long. Of course it would be. There was 24 things to talk about plus an intro. I mean, math is math. There's no doubting it. It's just true. Anyway, so I hope that was of interest of you. I hope if you haven't made any goals this year, you feel like maybe now you could pick some. You certainly don't have to pick 24. I don't anticipate finishing all of these to completion, but without having something to work towards, like progress is unlikely and a surprise as opposed to intentional, and I like intentional. I think intention is good, and in terms of like getting to working on and spending time with the things that are like valuable and meaningful and fun, or whatever your like goals and values are, I think it's just helpful to have a list. I mean, obviously I feel that way. I'm a little late to the party this year, but I'm still showing up. So there you go. I don't know when my first update or next video will be, but I will try and think of something. Probably will be an update video or maybe a vlog. Who knows? We'll see how things go. Thank you for sticking with me all the way through this really, really long rambly video. I will be back with another video hopefully soon. Thank you for watching.